as a conscious creator are so powerful. And it doesn't take lifetimes to change this. You can change it in an instant. You can create the new belief that I can reprogram my beliefs in an instant. Hello, beautiful ladies. Hello, beautiful queens. I am so grateful to be here with you tonight. Oh my gosh, I have not been on here for about a week and a half because I got the flu. And so I was cleansing a little bit, and I was just allowing myself the time to be in that space of solitude. In this space of solitude, I really stayed away from outside stimulation, and I allowed that to be an opportunity for me to go all the way within myself. With the exception of contact from my family, I really used that time to be a hermit. And, I learned so much about myself in that process. I learned so much about my subconscious programming. And one of the things that I really admire about the women who are on this channel, who are really engaged with this work, is all of our abilities and all of the courage that we choose and that resonates within ourselves, that allows us to just go within and really pay attention to our internal world. As a conscious creator, it is the message that I want to get to as many people as possible, and that is your internal world. If you can really become so familiar with your internal world, when you can become so intimately connected with your internal world, you become unstoppable, because you are the driver. You are the one who is the driver in this vision of life. You are allowing yourself the opportunity to really engage with your soul. And everything on the outside becomes the cherry on top. But underneath that, the layers underneath the beautiful gift that the external world gives to us is our very being. And so, as a conscious creator and as a healer and as a coach, I really believe in all of us as women and all of us as humans becoming so familiar with our internal world. And I have a question. Of course I do. My question is, who are you? Who are you? Take a moment to think about that, to feel into that question. Who am I? Am I the woman who shows up and gets dressed and goes to the gym and works the 9 to 5? Or am I the woman with thoughts and feelings that are in complete opposition of some of the situations and circumstances that are occurring in that external reality? Who are you really? Are you the woman in the relationships and with the habits and with all the things, with the name and the social security number and the birth date and the car you drive and the clothes you wear and the jewelry that you wear and the partner that you have? Or are you really the woman who has the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that maybe keep her up at night, or maybe don't even resonate with that external reality? My second question is, if you truly knew that you were a spiritual being having a human experience, and the purpose of your soul coming to this earth was to engage and experience and soak up everything this experience has to offer, while also learning very important soul evolutionary lessons along the way, what would you do differently? If you knew that when your soul was ready to evolve out of this body and into a different dimension, and you knew that you couldn't take anything with you in this external world, it all gets soaked up. You can't take your car, you can't take your clothes, you can't take your money, you can't take your family physically, you cannot take any of your possessions, you can't take your job title, you can't take any of the titles that you give to yourself. And the only thing that you took with you was your internal world, your thoughts and your feelings, and all of the lessons that are circulating in your intuition, that your intuition is pushing you towards learning, yet we sometimes ignore. Would you say that you were evolving as a soul if you continued to ignore the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions, the intuition? If your answer is no, what would you do differently? Very deep questions. Very deep questions that take a very courageous woman like yourself to absorb, acknowledge, answer, and have the courage of doing something differently. And so today we're going to talk about closing the gap. Closing the gap between this side of us and this side of us, and what are these two sides, and what is that gap? So when I talk about closing the gap, on one side of the gap, we'll say that's right here, one side of the gap is the person who we present to the external world. It is our human. It is the ego. It is the woman who wakes up, works that 9 to 5. She speaks a certain way in public. She walks a certain way in public. She dresses a certain way in public. She acts, she thinks, she talks a certain way in public. She drives a specific car, which is a specific color. She listens to a certain genre of music. She engages in certain habits that serve her or do not serve her. She's in specific relationships. She has a family history. She presents herself in a specific way to the world in order for her to fit in and to survive. It is within this construct that this woman has created that has allowed her to be a human in this human realm, that has allowed her to wake up, go to work, do the things that she either wants to do or doesn't want to do, but she figures out how to do them irregardless because she knows bills got to get paid, children got to be fed, she needs to be fed, etc. On this side of the gap is the part of you who is external. And so this external part of us, we believe is so real. We believe this is who we are. This is who I am. I am this name. I am this number. I am this birth date. I am this zodiac sign. I am this human design. I am this life path number. I am this relationship. This is my partner. These are my children. This is my house. This is where I live. That's the external part of us. And that external part of us that lives up here is directly connected to the external world. That external part of us receives gratification, and I almost want to say permission from the external world to be someone. But in order for that part of us to be someone, we have to force ourselves to fit into this mold, in this construct that doesn't even resonate with the deepest part of who we are. And that's the other part of the gap. This external picture, facade is the proper word, is that woman who, let's say, wanted to be an artist, wanted to be a YouTuber, wants to be a conscious, creative, divine, feminine woman who's running her own business, but instead, her parents said, you're only useful if you become a doctor or a lawyer. So that external facade is now a doctor and a lawyer. And it looks amazing on the outside. You look at this woman from the outside, from a third person point of view, and she's got it together. She's dressed to the nines. Her skin's glowing. She doesn't look stressed out. She's making a lot of money, or maybe she's not. She's in the relationship where it looks happy on the outside, but it's a facade. The bottom part of the gap is your internal world. And that internal world usually shows face when you are taking a shower, when you're brushing your teeth, maybe you're on a walk and you're not distracted by your phone. It usually shows up when you're laying in bed at night, when you have shut yourself off from everything outside of you, and it is just you and you. That internal world consists of your thoughts, emotions, your triggers, your reactions, your intuition. That internal world has a voice in her, has an internal voice that maybe says, I hate this job. I do not like working from 9 to 5 every day in a cubicle for someone else when I want to be doing XYZ. And so there's conflict, right? There's conflict here. And that conflict, those conflicting voices, that facade we put on for the world that doesn't match our internal landscape, is now causing a detrimental shift in our psyche, which is causing us to lose track of who we really are. this overstimulated world that we live in, where we can receive dopamine hits now just by scrolling and watching TikToks all day and Instagram and all the other things. The internal world is the construct of the soul. It is all of the things that are buried deep within the subconscious mind that keep you up at night, that tell you to go right, but yet you go left, that say, I really want to spend this lifetime traveling the world, but yet you stay stuck in one place because how dare you do that to your family and your friends. That internal world that is made up of your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions are telling you that you deserve better, that you deserve to feel a specific way, that you deserve to be in a specific relationship, that you deserve to be in a more intimate relationship with yourself, yet your external world's telling you that it's actually better to fit in and be a people pleaser. Because how dare I choose myself is what the external world tells our internal world to communicate to us. And so you have that external facade, you have that internal landscape, and in between that external and internal landscape, you have all of the emotions that you have memorized over your lifetime, all of the triggers, all of the reactions. You have your personality, your personal reality that you have created through all of the life experience that, I don't know why this happens sometimes, through all of the life experiences that you have experienced. And so within that gap of all of these memorized emotions, you've created a comfort zone. You've created a cocoon to warp yourself in, to live a comfortable life in which is extremely comfortable because you have your soul being pulled in two different directions, because the internal world and the external world are conflicting. They are not in resonance. There's a lot of dissonance happening. And so I want you to begin asking yourself, who am I being on the outside? And does my inner voice actually match the frequency of that woman that I am presenting to the external world? I, for so long, worked in Western medicine as a firefighter paramedic, and Western medicine has its place in society, in emergency situations, in diagnosing, etc. But deep down, I knew that my soul's calling was to be some sort of herbalist, was to learn how to make my own medicine. I truly believe that the earth provides everything that we need. And so right then and there, I was having so many conflicting thoughts and feelings and reactions and emotions because I was waking up every day, putting on my scrubs, going to work at a hospital in four walls that are in a building that's 60 degrees, working 12-hour shifts, when I knew deep down in my soul that this doesn't resonate with me. I am an herbalist. I am a medicine woman. I truly and deeply resonate with understanding that the earth provides everything that I need. My body is a self-healing mechanism, and food is my medicine. And so, using that as an example, can you see where those conflicting emotions and feelings are now circulating in my reality? Can you see how I was sending so many mixed signals to the universe, to God? Can you see how I could potentially create dis-ease in my physical body because I wasn't paying attention to my soul's calling and desire? I got to the point where I was in so much physical pain where I had to make the decision to listen to my soul. And your soul is going to make you listen one way or another. The thing is that I knew all along that, yes, this part of medicine has its place in time, but not in an everyday situation of maintenance and longevity. And so I either was going to listen, or I was going to continue on the path of ignoring my soul, ignoring my intuition, and giving praise to the external world more than being a conscious and deliberate creator and responsible soul who knows that with every decision she makes, she's either raising the frequency of humanity's consciousness or lowering it. And we do that by either listening to our calling, listening to our intuition, listening and paying attention to what our thoughts and feelings are actually saying, or we don't. And so with that being said, I want you to start looking at your globe of consciousness that you are in and the external world that you have created. And I want you to start paying attention and to your thoughts and your feelings and seeing, is there conflicting thoughts here? Are there conflicting emotions here? Are there conflicting feelings here? And aside from fitting in to what we think is right, aside from fitting in so we can survive in this earthly realm, we as humans memorize our emotions so deeply, and we've been doing it for such a long time that we grow comfortable with living in the discomfort of the thoughts and feelings that we produce every single day. And instead of just changing it and creating a new reality, we decide to stay stuck there because of the fear of judgment from others, but mostly the fear of failure from ourselves. But I always ask myself, if I don't try this and if I don't listen to my internal voice, the voice of God that lives within me, how can I possibly evolve as a soul in this lifetime? How can I possibly trust myself if the only thing I do is go outside of myself for the answer? This is really about coming back home and going within yourself for the answer. And so the process of memorizing emotions is something that happens from the brain to the body. And when we talk about the mind-body connection, this is a fragment of what we're talking about here. And so I'm going to go over how we memorize these emotions, how these thoughts actually communicate with the body, and how we continuously engage in this thinking, feeling loop, which creates our reality, which creates our personality and our personal reality. And so the first thing is you have an experience in life. And with that experience, whether it's at 5 years old or 30 years old, 50 years old, 70 years old, etc., that experience, you create a thought from that experience. So let's just take an experience and we'll say that the thought was grounded in fear. So you have an experience, you live through an experience, and that experience brings up fear, thoughts of fear. Within the brain are neurons, and these neurons produce neurotransmitters. A neurotransmitter is a chemical message that is passed from one neuron to another. A thought is a neurotransmitter, right? It's a chemical messenger passed from one neuron to another. So we think that thought of fear, it creates a neurotransmitter. That neurotransmitter has a specific chemical signature in the form of a frequency, vibration and frequency. That neurotransmitter that now has a specific frequency attached to it, which is the frequency of fear, tells the hypothalamus deep within the brain, hey, we have thoughts of fear happening right now. This is its chemical frequency. I need you to create a neuropeptide so we can tell the body that we are in fear. So the hypothalamus says, great, I'm going to create a neuropeptide, and that neuropeptide is also going to match that frequency of fear. And I'm going to send this neuropeptide to the pituitary gland, which is the master of the endocrine system, your hormones. And that neuropeptide is sent to the pituitary gland so it can then enter the bloodstream. And as it enters the bloodstream, it's because it's now grounded in fear, it has that chemical signature of fear, it tells the adrenal glands, hey, coming through, I have a molecule that is now engraved in the chemical of fear. Please start to make cortisol and adrenaline, etc., fear hormones. So now you begin to feel the way that you were thinking based on that thought, that original thought. So now you're feeling the way that you were thinking, which is going to create more thoughts of fear. And now you're thinking the way that you are feeling. And so as humans, we have this magnificent power to continuously, and actually this is in the Four Agreements, he says, we are the only species who continuously punishes ourselves and others for the same thing over and over and over again. And that can be something external, but of course I'm going to go internal. We're the only species that punishes ourselves with our thoughts and our feelings over and over and over again. We're the only species that does this. And so that one lived experience that might have happened 20 years ago that is connected to that thought, now that feeling has been circulating in your body, circulating in your bloodstream, circulating in your brain for eons, and you are still emotionally and mentally programmed to that experience 20 years ago. So if I were to ask, would you say that you have grown? Or would you say you're still stuck as that person from 20 years ago? Between that external world and that internal world are all of those emotions that we have memorized through that thinking and feeling loop. And those emotions vary from fear to anger to jealousy to envy to happiness to joy to peace to self-pity to a lack of boundaries to, you get it, the list goes on. And depending on your life experiences is how large that gap is. And the key here is to close that gap and to chip away at that gap one by one by changing the way we think, changing the way we feel, and creating a new belief system. Within that change, we create a new personality. We create a new personal reality for ourselves. We quantum leap and shift timelines from one end of the spectrum to another. You get to choose how long this takes for you. You can change a belief in an instant. So let's say the belief is, I'm unworthy of healthy relationships. Once upon a time, you had a thought that stated, I am unworthy of healthy relationships. That created a feeling of unworthiness. That became a chemical signature in the body. That started to produce feelings of unworthiness. That started to produce more thoughts of unworthiness. And then you began to engage in the cyclical loop of, I am unworthy. However, you, as a conscious creator, are so powerful, and it doesn't take lifetimes to change this. You can change it in an instant. You can create the new belief that I can reprogram my beliefs in an instant. Oh wait, I am worthy. And what you do is you look for evidence in your external world that prove that you are worthy. Oh, I am confident. Look for things in your external world that prove that you are confident. Go back into the archives of your soul's consciousness, your evolutionary journey, and find it. I bet you I could for you. And it's not always these big, grandiose things. It's in the little instances, really. Oh, I am confident. I set boundaries today. Oh, I am confident. I showed up for myself today. Oh, I am confident. I was able to keep my word to this person and myself. Oh, I am confident. I over-delivered on that project. See? I knew you had it. So the thing we want to do here is, as we close the gap, is to have our internal world match the external world. If your internal world is saying, I want to be an artist and I want to travel the world and I want to be a YouTuber and I want to be a whatever, and it's not matching that external world, well, sister, let's make that internal world, that intuitive guidance, a lot more real so that the external world matches that frequency. One way to start understanding how you are emotionally programmed is just by observing your thoughts and your feelings in solitude. Choose 5-10 minutes a day. I meditate for an hour every single day. And I now deliberately choose when and how long and for how long I can expose myself to external stimulation, because I want to understand my thoughts and my feelings. And if something comes up within me that does not resonate, oh, baby, we are rewiring it right then and there. It is the moment when you're washing the dishes and you have a thought come up that doesn't resonate. And that's when you catch it and you say, oh, wait, no, this is not loving to me. I need to rewire this right now. And there are different methods of rewiring. One thing I love is journaling. And I will journal on what I actually am feeling and allowing myself to express without any judgment. Another thing I actually like to do is talk to myself out loud. So I'll sit and I will go through that program and start asking myself, okay, I'm feeling this way. Why? What is the belief, the underlying belief? When was the first time I ever felt this way? And I'll wait for my soul to answer the question. And the first thing that comes up in your mind is normally where that belief was created. It could have been from 25 years ago ago when you were a child and someone told you that you weren't good enough. So it's very, very, it's a beautiful journey to do this for yourself. It's a gift to be able to do this. It's a gift to make the decision to say, I'm not going to run away from myself anymore. I am so worthy. I am so powerful. I deserve this. I am a beautiful spiritual being, having and living and loving this human experience, and I want to understand my soul. Another thing you can do is to really start getting in tune with your body, putting your hands on your heart. How are you today? Ask questions. How are you today? How are you feeling today? What do you need to hear today? I was in a meditation the other day, and one of a limiting belief came up, and I was like, where did that come from? And I put my hand on my heart, and I said, okay, let's rewire this. What do I need to hear in this moment based on that limiting belief? What did that little girl or whoever she was at that moment, that woman who took in this limiting belief and said it was true for her, what does she need to hear? And you know what came up? 2 words. I matter. That was it. And just those 2 words, my soul needed to hear those 2 words, but most importantly, my soul needed to feel that she could speak and be listened to, and that I would listen. Listen to your soul. Listen to your intuition. Pay attention to your thoughts. They are electric. Your feelings are magnetic. They are always drawing in and creating your reality because we are electromagnetic. Things that are electric carry a charge with them. So when you think a thought, you are pushing a vibration out into the world. And when you feel the emotion that is directly connected to that thought, which is magnetic, you are drawing in a resonating frequency. And so if you look at your external world and you begin to see what is not working, I want you to start asking, how did I create this? And then I want you to start saying, wait, but I can recreate it now. I love you, and I am always so grateful to be here with you. I think that's all I have today. And I love this work. I love this work. I love coaching women on this work. Oh, last thing. 2 things. I do have 2 coaching packages that are now, I offer on my website, the Conscious Freedom Movement. So you can go to Conscious Freedom Movement, go to services, look at the different packages that I do offer. I love coaching women. I love sitting in front of a woman and feeling her energy and really being able to reprogram her subconscious mind. I am just the vehicle. You are the driver. You are the powerful force that is doing it. And that is the brilliance of this work, is helping you find your power, your highest potential, your freedom through yourself. And secondly, I am launching my course, Higher Mind. I am so excited. It came to me in a meditation, and I'm like, okay, I have to bring this to the community. I have to bring this to my girls. I am going to be putting that up on the website ASAP. Her name is going to be Higher Mind, and we as a collective are going to work on understanding the subconscious mind, understanding the conscious mind, understanding a little bit of how can we bridge science and spirituality? How can we bridge mind and body? How can we tap into quantum physics and actually pivot timelines in an instant? How to reprogram our subconscious mind through meditation, through visualization, through journaling. How we can become conscious creators of our reality, understand what's working and what is not working, and how we actually have played a role in all of that. I am going to guide all of you through this. So if you are excited, if this is something that resonates with you, please visit my website, The Conscious Freedom Movement, to sign up. I have not chosen when I will close sign up, probably in about 2 to 3 weeks, but ladies, thank you. If this video resonates with you, please comment, like, subscribe. I love your comments. I love responding and engaging with you ladies in the comments. I am a very, what's my love language? Very affectionate, very, I love deep combos, and I really love human interaction. And so I really appreciate when you ladies take the time to comment and engage and ask questions. If you have a question about anything, ask it. I love you so much. I pray that this video resonated with your beautiful soul, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. And of course, remember that the freedom that you seek starts from within. Bye for now. Bye, ladies.